Now in my last video I covered a rather large project, but today I have something much smaller for you. This is a little robot couple, again made from junk bits and pieces. I started with this guy here, then I made him a girlfriend, and there's another addition to the family which I will cover in just a moment with some video footage. So meet Rolf, but let me start here on the top. His head was part of an electric plug. I added these beads for ears. I added a screw and a spring on the top. And here on the bottom is just a bottle top that I glued at an angle so it would give him a mouth. And yes, his head moves, so do his arms. Now his chest and his belly was made from an old electric motor from a model boat. Can you hear? I decorated his whole body with some gears and some charms, little pieces of chain and beads and so on for great texture. I also added some legs that came from a broken toy. They're glued on, but they're also attached with wire. They also have wire for texture, and here on the bottom some metal bits and tiny bows as well. Now Ralph has a hobby. He loves to blow bubbles. So in one hand he holds a tiny bubble blower, in the other hand a see-through crystal marble, and that keeps him busy and happy. Here on the back he has a large propeller from a Lego set. There are a couple other construction toys on his shoulders and back. Everything is glued, but there are also a few wires just to keep it all secure. After I spray painted him black and used the waxes on him, I added a few unpainted bits in gold on his belly button, his eyes, inside his ears. There are a couple of gears on the sides, and here in the back are a few studs from an old watch and a gear on his propeller. Now for his finish I alternated between my gold rub buff and a Prima wax in a bluish tealish color. So some parts of him are more blue, some are more gold, and I really like the way it came out. Now for his stand I used a very large bottle top, and the same I used on his girlfriend. So meet Alma. Again I wrote her name on a casino chip here underneath. Now for the top part of her head, I used a half a tea egg. It came with holes so it was easy to attach those tiny springs that give her those lovely curly hair. I again used large bead caps for ears. The bottom of her head is made from a children's bicycle bell, and yes, she can rotate her shoulders. Her body was made from two bottle caps and her skirts from a tiny metal shot glass. I gave her a small fabric apron and otherwise decorated her with lots more pieces of jewelry. After I painted her, I added this emblem, which is made from gears and little watch parts. Here you can see all the textured bits all around her. Now I think I failed to show you her legs really well, but they're made from handyman bits. There are some screws and nuts, and hopefully you can see them later on photos. So here in the back she carries a little basket, a gear with two tiny wings, so this could be an emergency propeller. I also added a tiny telescope and a key on a chain. I added a few unpainted bits to Alma as well. First of all, most of her moving parts were not painted, but she also has a few bits on the back, some on the sides, and then of course her eyes. Now Alma has a hobby as well, a bit more unusual than Rolf's, but she's trying to teach her pet croc to jump through a hoop. Good luck, Alma. And here's her prodigy, a tiny toy baby crocodile. Here you can also see that I extended those little chubby arms with some hooks for hands. On the bottom on her stand there is a bit of extra chain. Here in the back a piece of lace just to cover up the seam, and so on. I colored her the same way I did Rolf, so their finishes are very similar. I hope you like my little couple as much as I do. It took me quite some time to finish them, even though they are so small, but there was a lot of details involved. Now, like I said earlier, I will be making another member to their little family. And like always, I start with a bunch of junk. I believe that this part will be very self-explanatory. Like always, I will put anything you need to know in the captions, but I will turn you over to some music and I will chat with you towards the end. Enjoy. So giving him a shiny nose and adding those 2 eyes was the last thing I did, and my little dog, my little robot dog, is completed. Now I thought a bit about what kind of hobby this little fellow would fancy. Now being a dog, I figured it had to do with food. So he has a dinner bell at the end of his tail and some provisions in his saddlebags. This little glass bottle has some tiny gears, some screws and nuts suitable for robots to eat. I added a little handle on this bottle. I added some wire and a chain to keep it connected. On the other side, he of course has a dessert of a fortune cookie. So he is all prepared in case this little family gets hungry. I really like the zipper pull in its original color. It sticks out either a lot or little and moves nicely from side to side. I also really like those little metal pieces I used to hold his eyeballs. I have no idea where they came from, but they fit perfectly in size and shape. He, of course, has lots of details, just like Ralph and Alma. He was also colored the same way. Here you can see the gear that turns, his little bow tie, and then of course I had to give him a suitable name, Meet Gus. Now I know his head does not move, but his tail does. So here's my little robot family, and I hope you like them. Now I know that some of the footage was not very good, you couldn't see very well, but I hope that you still enjoyed watching me work on these. Creating these guys was really fun and interesting. Now usually I don't go for cute, but I think these are adorable. I will add some photos so you can see all of these one more time. So that's it for today. Ralph, Alma and Gus say bye, and so do I. By the way, this is the last of my 4 catching up videos. The next posting will be with something more up to date. Until then, take care and bye bye for now.